Hey Crocheters! So today I want to talk kind of more about my backstory. So yesterday I talked about the origin of my company name, Old Soul Crochet Company, and why I feel like I'm an old soul, and really kind of brought you guys back to, my childhood upbringing and how that's affected me in my life. And so, while we're still kind of in that vein of talking about things from the past, I wanted to talk about when I started crocheting. So I first learned to crochet when I was like 10 years old, and I just crocheted chains, long chains of single crochet. And they used those as shoelaces. My mom at our church was the head of the humanitarian aid branch of our church for a while. And so they would, all of the women would get together and they would sew booties, and then they would use the long chains of single crochet for laces. So I knew how to do that, and I thought I was pretty cool. And honestly, it was a long time before I learned how to build on something and make it more than just a single crochet. But honestly, the very first time that I did that, I actually worked in the round. I made a long chain, looped it together, and crocheted around. Honestly, at that point, I was kind of self-taught. So I'm going to show you some projects that I have from my early teen years, like 13 or so, that I don't even know what stitch it is, because it doesn't look like single crocheting to me. Yeah. So the very first big project that I did was I made a dress for my doll, which my first idea was to try and make crochet dresses for Barbies. But they looked so big and chunky with a medium weight yarn on a Barbie. I just really didn't like it. So I think I tried for a grand total of a half a day, and then I was like, this is terrible. Let's make something for my big doll. So no laughing. Okay, you guys can laugh. She looks terrible. Well loved, shall we say. She used to have a cute dress, but it got lost and I made her a new one. And she used to have a bonnet and it got lost and I made her a new one. So anyway, this is Dolly. She looks kind of terrible. Like I said, well loved. She's filthy. But yeah, so I decided I'd make a dress for Dolly. She'd lost her other one anyway. And this doll's been with me, I don't remember when she wasn't with me. So my whole life, or, when I was very, very young. And you can see she's been sewn up a lot of different times, tidbits there. She ripped at her neck. I tried to sew it back up with my, really terrible DIY-ness as a young child. But hey, she is still around, even though she's a little terrifying looking. Yeah, so this was the very first big project that I did. And like I said, if you look at this stitch, I've got no idea what that is, because it doesn't look like single crocheting. And somehow I got a stripe of ribbing in here. I don't know how I did that either. So yeah, I've got no clues on this. But this was my first big project, and I think that the size of Dolly actually has, because I'm really inventive, that's her name, Dolly. I think her size has also kind of influenced the size of the animals that I have, because she is, she's pretty big. And so the animals that I've designed, I think, kind of go back to this childhood feeling of having a big stuffed animal that I really loved. And so that's why I think that's why at least, that a lot of my animals also are larger and snuggly and whatnot. So yes, so this was my 13-year-old me project. And then, I was like, well, I could do that. Maybe I should make clothes for my nieces. I mentioned before that I come from a pretty big family. And so when I was 10 was the first time I became an aunt. So I can't do math. I really can't. It's pathetic. So I can't say how old my nieces were when I was 13 to actually gauge my age. So I might have been 15 or 16. when I attempted to do this. So I made this jumper, which is very like boxy and square. I made it for one of my nieces. And like it's so thick and warm, and like I didn't use a soft yarn. I used acrylic. Oh, and that was back when I didn't know you were supposed to crochet through both loops. So I only crocheted through one. Yeah, I think she wore it once, and then it ended up back in my stash, which is honestly okay because, well, actually, not only do I know it's not very cute, but also it's like, it's nice to have a project that you made when you were young to be able to hold up and look at and be like, look how far I've come. You know, and like I free-handed this little butterfly. Anyway, so honestly, showing these to tell you guys a little bit like about my backstory, you know, my learning how to crochet and early attempts at projects, but also to maybe explain a little bit about my mindset. I am very much a just kind of figure it out sort of person. So like I didn't follow patterns. I don't like following patterns. My mom is very good at sewing, and she would, you know, get out the pattern paper. It's like trace paper, you know, but it's like really thin tissue paper, and pin it into place and like cut out, you know, every shape, and she just did everything so perfectly, and I just didn't have time for that at all. And so I just have always been kind of like, I will do it my own way. I'll figure it out when it comes to working with my hands. And so that's what these, you know, 2 projects were. You know, they were just like I'm going to, you know, I'm just going to start crocheting. I'm going to figure it out as I go. I'm going to learn while I'm in it. And so that, I think that has, yeah, I'm sorry, I'm stuttering a little bit this morning. So I think that really played a big role in me being a designer versus just a maker. Because I love designing. I don't like just making. I don't like getting a pattern and following it. I like making it my own. You know, I like having the idea in my head, starting from scratch and just trying. And even if it doesn't work, I'd rather try a lot of times and have it not work than to follow someone else's pattern. I'm a little stubborn. Yeah. So I just wanted to tell you guys about kind of those early projects, show you how far I've come. I still haven't ever followed a pattern for a clothing item. I might have to do that someday. There are some really cute ones out there that it's like, okay, I would follow the pattern on that because that's adorable and there's no way I would figure it out. So anyway, that's going to be it for my vlog today. I'm excited to chat with you guys in the comments. I'd love to hear about your guys' kind of first projects and I don't know, where you've come since then and what you've liked to do. And whether you're a maker or a designer. I think that would be really interesting. Or both, because let's be honest, we're all kind of both. Anyway, I will talk to you guys again tomorrow, and take care.